Your girl. Ne? Did you hear? Did you hear what she did? This time you're not going to believe me. Let me tell you. So she went and she quit her job because she said she was unhappy. These children don't know struggle. She's going to die poor. I'm telling you now. Die poor, 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 poor. She's going to go move back to the villages. Watch her. Back to the villages.
I'm gonna try, gonna try, gonna try. Work till I die, till I die, till I die. I'm gonna fail and get up, cause I'm not giving up on my dream.
Hey beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kopano Shimange and this is How I Do Things, the show where you send me your questions and I'll let you know how I would do things. Now you can take it as advice or use it as entertainment. Use it, don't use it, do with it what you will. I'm just letting you know what I would do if I was in your shoes. That's it. Nothing to it, nothing funky, just letting you know. I've got a question for you. Are you happy? Are you okay? Is everything fine in your life? Like a genuine question. I'm not trying to lead you to saying you're unhappy or whatever. Like if you're happy, just say you're happy. You know, is everything fine? How are you doing? Or grand? Or sharp? This is a funny question that my husband had asked me the other day. You know, about happiness. And we're talking about this concept of happiness. Woo! Life is great! Naughty! And we're talking about gratitude and we're talking about all the things that are quite trending right now in terms of, you know, finding your happiness and writing in a gratitude journal. I believe that gratitude is an important thing. The Bible tells us that gratitude is an important thing, you know. Supplementing our prayers with gratitude, you know, starting first with gratitude. And it always brings you to such a good place in your life and you realize that you have been abundantly blessed in your life. But we're talking about happiness. And my husband asked me, when were you the happiest? And I thought about it and I was like, and honestly, I feel as though I've been very happy in my life. I can't specifically pinpoint a moment in my life when I said I was happiest because there's been so many moments where I have been so happy. I mean, the other night, baby and husband fell asleep at the same time. And I just looked in the dark, just looking over the two of them. And I was just thinking to myself, I'm so happy. This was the happiest night in my life. Something that's small. Husband and baby falling asleep at the same time at 9 a.m. The house was doo-doo. Quiet. Ha! You don't know the type of happiness that brings. If you're a mother, you know. But I was so happy, right? And there have been many other moments in my life when I'm just like, you know, what can I quantify as the most happiest moment in my life? I can't really tell you because I feel as though most of it I've been happy. So I can't really tell you the happiest moment in my life, but I can definitely tell you about the most unhappiest moments in my life. Moments of absolute miserableness. And those moments were, I think at the peak of those moments, I was misaligned with what I thought that God wanted for me in my life. God was here. Constantly here, you know, bugging me, telling me you're not supposed to be here in a job that looked amazing. And on paper and probably on social media, it looked great, but I was miserable. I was so unhappy. When you don't have this alignment of working towards what you believe you have been created for, it breeds this unhappiness. And we always try to fill ourselves with all of this gratitude and waking up and, you know, filling all the habits that we're supposed to fill because we shouldn't be ungrateful because we're alive and all of those things. But it's very hard to be happy when you are not aligned with what you believe you have been created for, or this desire that is in your heart, the special gift that you have that God has given you that bothers you is here. Have you ever felt like that? I don't know. I don't know if many people feel like this. But I'm making this video either way because I feel as though, you know, I feel as though I should. So this for people who are thinking to themselves, your personal goals versus your professional goals. Are you happy where you are? And do these things have such a huge impact on that happiness that you have? That's what we'll chat about today. All right, so this is the Cozy Conversations. Let me know what you guys are thinking. I know this intro was long, but we're going down. All right, so if you have any questions that you want to send to me, head over to my Instagram and look for this picture right here at Kopano Shimange, and let me know what you want to chat about in our next videos. You guys love these Cozy Conversations, and I think not every single one of them is going to be for you, but maybe it is. You'll let me know. If you feel as though there are these desires that you have and this talent that you have and this vision that you have for your life that you want to go for, but you're really scared to go for it, there are 4 things that I always thought to myself that really pushed me from where I was in that place where I was really unhappy to a place where I became happy. Not because I achieved the things that I wanted to achieve, but because I got on a path that made me feel as though I was aligned with what I was created for. I was aligned with the desires that God had put in my heart and the talents that He had given me. And I was using them. Whether they resulted in something huge or not, didn't matter. I was just happy because I found that alignment. So number 1, God created you in a very specific way, and He created you that way for a reason, right? So this reminds me of Jeremiah 1:5, and it says, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." I have heard so many people use this, and it's not a verse that I have repeated so much until recently it came back into my mind. And we often think to ourselves, why do I want this thing? Why do I want to, become a TV presenter? Why do I want to, be a mother of 7? Why do I want to build a business? Why do I want to work with these type of people? Why do I have the desires that I have? You have them because God gave them to you. And sometimes you need to set apart the different desires that have been built by the world and the ones that have been put in you because God put them in you. But when you know those things, they continuously bug you. You pray about them. You pray over and over and over about those things, and you ask God for guidance over those things, and you hand them to Him because they're His anyway. And if you continue to get bugged constantly, this feeling, this voice, this nudge that tells you need to go for those things, those are the things that will align you with your purpose. Those are the things that will align you with your true form of happiness. And once you start working on those things, you'll start to see that your life starts to fall into place. Things start to make sense. And I've seen so many people ask themselves, but is this something that God has planned for me? Is this something that God has given me? I'm not sure. If you have that desire and you pray about it and it goes nowhere, then surely it is something that God placed in you, and He knows very well that He placed it in you, and He's placed it in you for a reason. And not going after that thing could be the reason why you are eluding the certain level of happiness. And no matter how much you try and do all of these personal development things, it just feels like something's missing. That level of happiness, you're just not achieving it. When you go after your personal goals, those personal desires that you have, that level of happiness gets unlocked and you find it because of that alignment. But when you're misaligned, so much in your life will make you miserable. But when you start to go after the things that God has placed in your heart, then you start to find that alignment. But believe it, that God didn't make you that way by mistake. He did it for a reason. And even if He put those desires in your heart for you not to achieve them, but to go after them, there's a purpose in it. There's a purpose in the journey that He wants you to go on in pursuit of those things that will make you happy. I mean, you can be happy at any stage in your life, you can. But there will always be that level that is unlocked because there's a part of you that has been made in a specific way for a specific purpose that you are ignoring. And until you unlock that, there's a certain level of happiness that you are not unlocking. There's a certain level of purpose that you are just leaving undone. But when you go for it, you will start to feel this peace, and you'll start to feel this alignment that you've never felt before. Number 2 is to stop worrying because God will provide. That is the hardest of them all. Trying to go after these personal desires that you have, these personal goals that you have, is not easy. And you worry that maybe I won't succeed, maybe I won't get there. But what's worse, like for me, I quit my job and I worried a lot at the beginning. But then I got this faith. I started to pray and got reassurance that, my darling, you are on the right track. I got you. And as I read the Bible, I realized how many times God was telling me to stop worrying. To stop worrying about basic sustenance. To stop worrying about being able to pay for your food or to pay for your petrol. Like I've driven to places with zero petrol in my car, but I got there and I got back home. My car has never stopped because of petrol. Never. Even though there was no petrol in my car. And that was pure God. Because every time I prayed, God, should I be here? You know, let me know if I'm doing the work that I'm supposed to do. Please keep guiding me. Please keep moving me in the direction. May I feel your hand as you guide me. And because, you know, those things, I never got stopped by anything. I realized that it is because God wants me to be here. If I was stopped by things, if the things kept on getting hard, if I felt as though I was being pushed somewhere else, it's because God doesn't want you to be there. So as I went for these personal goals, these desires that God has actually put in my heart, whatever obstacle came my way, it was solved. I never went hungry. I always got what I needed. I didn't always have what I wanted, but I always got what I needed. But that was because God was providing. And this reminds me of Matthew 6, verse 26, 25, and 27. It says, therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, or about your body, what you will wear. If is not life more than food, and the body more than clothes? Look at the birds of the air. Do they not sow or reap or store away in barns? And yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they? Ooh, wow. It takes a lot for that to really sink into your bones. But if you continue to read it and you continue to say it and speak it with your mouth, you'll start to believe it and you'll start to live it. And no matter what flames are going on in your life, you will have this peace and this rest because you have faith and because you know that God will provide. As long as you are going for what God has planned for you and you are handing your day over to God, you are handing your dreams to God, you are handing your work to God, He will guide you and He will always provide for you. And this leads me to number 3. Hand it over to God. In order to have that peace and that joy and that rest, you need to hand it over to God. It's a weight that is lifted off your shoulders when you do that. It really makes you less burdened by the worry. It makes you less burdened to feel as though you have to do it yourself. I know that before I quit my job and before I started to chase this dream that I believe that God has placed in my heart, because I'm still chasing it, you know, at first it looked like a business like this. Then it changed into a business like this, and it's still the same skills, it's still the same knowledge that I'm using. It's just presented in a completely different way, and because of the way that I'm presenting it, I'm able to touch so many lives and help women build businesses. I'm helping women to feed their children. I'm helping women to chase their happiness and their purpose by chasing mine. By handing it over to God, you literally say to yourself, you know, I'm going to stop trying to do this by myself. You can't do this by yourself. You can't. You have to hand it over to God and say, God, you're in control. I'm going to do what you tell me to do. By handing it over, you stop worrying about the food. You stop worrying about paying for the car. You stop worrying about paying for the house. You do what God has assigned you to do. Every day you hand it over and you do what you are assigned to do, and God will provide for those things. I remember when I finally started to chase the things that God wanted for me, instead of trying to do the things I thought I needed for myself, I tried to provide for myself. I tried to, you know, cover all my means. I tried to cover all my bases myself, you know, because I was just like, wait, God, before I do what you want me to do, I need to make sure I have food. When I did that, things didn't go so well. I was always feeling like I was striving for things. I felt like I was fighting for things. But when I gave it up and I handed it over to God, God started first by wiping clean all the work that I had did before that, because I thought I needed it. And He showed me that I didn't need any of those things that I thought I needed. He got rid of them because He's just like, you don't need these things. I'm going to show you what you need and I will give you everything you need. And from that moment onwards, God was able to multiply. He was able to do more than I could ever believe he could be able to do. The things I have now in my life, I know that I couldn't have gotten them by myself. I know that I didn't get them. God got them for me. My husband came through grace. My daughter came through grace. Everything is through grace and through God. And that is what happens when you hand it over. It is so difficult, but it is the best thing that you can honestly do for yourself. True happiness, joy. Joy is a level above happiness. And when you have that faith and you are able to hand it over, you have peace, rest, and joy. That level, joy, that is a level above all forms of happiness. And you can get that if you really hand it over to God. So for this, the verse that really stands out for me is 1 Peter 5, verse 6 and 7. It says, humble yourself, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, so that at the proper time he may exalt you, casting all your anxieties on him because he cares for you. Ooh, guys, the power in that is beyond anything that I could ever explain or imagine. And number 4, which is the story I've mentioned over and over again, is that you have everything you need at your disposal to achieve whatever it is that God has placed in your heart. We make these excuses saying, but I don't have the money yet, or I don't have the time, or I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have the camera, I don't have the equipment, but I don't know how to do this. The story of the prodigal son has a twofold story to it. The first is that you can squander everything, and yet God will accept you back with open arms. He will throw a party for you when you return. But the second part is the son who stayed. And when the father told him that he has everything, he has access to everything he has, God is telling us that I gave you dominion. You have power over everything. You have access to everything that I have created. You have everything you need to achieve the dream that you have. So whatever excuse you are giving God, he's not hearing it, because you have dominion, you have the power, you have access to everything you need. Get off your tuchas and go get it. That's what you have to do. So the prodigal son is in Luke 15, verse 11 to 32. But the one that stands out for me is verse 31, where the father says to the son, my son, you are always with me, and everything I have is yours. God is always with us. And we honestly do have power over everything we need in order to fulfill the purpose that God has put us here for. That's all I can say about that. I can't even add anymore. Hope that you guys enjoyed that one. It was a cozy conversations. I've got my sgoo, and now I'm gonna go over to go hang out with baby and boo, bae, you know. Hope that you guys enjoyed this one. Have an amazing Sunday. Let me know what you feel or think about your personal goals versus your professional goals, and how you are working towards that level of happiness and joy in your life. Until next time, beautiful people, I'm Kopano Shimange, and this is How I Do Things. Hey gorgeous, thank you so much for watching my video, and thank you for making it right until the end. I hope that you are subscribed, and don't forget to go to my website www.kopanoshimange.com and get access to all the gifts and amazing things I have for you when you become part of the gorgeous gang.